Now, we are going to be going through the preview and predictions. My preview and predictions for this Sunday's AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling's Forbidden Door pay-per-view. I'm possibly going to go out on a limb and say that this is probably going to be the best AEW pay-per-view of the year. I said this last year as well with Forbidden Door. At the time, the best pay-per-view last year for AEW was Revolution. But Forbidden Door completely blew away everybody's expectations, considering the fact that the build for the show last year wasn't as good as, a lot of people thought it was going to be, and it was not really AEW or New Japan's fault. It was because of the fact that a lot of their plans got fucked up because of all the injuries that were going on. But now, AEW has literally everybody, and this card is absolutely stacked to the point where, possibly, most likely, this show will top last year's show. And the atmosphere in Toronto is going to be insane. Now, we're going to be going through this whole card, and it's going to be a great card regardless. But in the pre-show, or in the 0 hour, we got ROH Women's Champion Athena versus Billy Starks in the Owen Hart Cup Tournament first round match. Now, what's very interesting is that Athena hasn't been on AEW television. Of course, Athena is the current Ring of Honor Women's Champion, and she has been going on a tear as the ROH Women's Champion. Of course, she is the top female heel in the company. And overall, it's clearly obvious that Athena is going to be getting the win. Why would you have your ROH Women's Champion lose to somebody like Billy Starks? That's all I'm going to say about that. But obvious, Athena is going to be advancing to the semifinals. CM Punk is going to be wrestling on this show, and he's going to be wrestling Satoshi Kojima in the Owen Hart Cup Tournament first round match. It's going to be very interesting now. Originally, we all thought it was going to be CM Punk versus Kenta, but that is not going to be the case. And now we got CM Punk versus Satoshi Kojima. CM Punk is going to be going over. I think it's pretty obvious for that, to say the least, because if you look at the brackets for the Owen Hart Cup Tournament, it's fairly predictable, but I will say the semifinals, from what it looks like on Punk's side, most likely Samoa Joe is going to get his win, and we're going to be getting CM Punk versus Samoa Joe in the semifinals. That is going to be a match I definitely want to be seeing. I am so excited for that, but CM Punk is going to be advancing, and most likely CM Punk will be involved and will win the Owen Hart Cup Tournament. We got Orange Cassidy taking on Zack Sabre Jr. versus Katsuyori Shibata versus Daniel Garcia in a four-way for the AEW International Championship. Of course, Orange Cassidy has been on a tear as the International Champion, and honestly, this match could go either way, but I do see Orange Cassidy retaining the AEW International Championship. I do not see, Orange Cassidy losing to a New Japan guy like Zack Sabre Jr. or Kazuchika Shibata. Could it be a scenario in which he drops the belt to Daniel Garcia? Maybe, but I do not see that happening. If you want Orange Cassidy to drop the international title, it has to be against somebody very, very, very credible. And I view a guy like Roosh to be that guy to do it. But for this four-way match that's going to be happening at Forbidden Door, Orange Cassidy will be retaining the AEW International Championship. After that, we got Toni Storm versus Willow Nightingale for the AEW Women's World Championship. I think it's obvious that Toni Storm is going to be retaining the title. I do not see Willow Nightingale getting the win, even though Willow Nightingale is going to bring up a great fight against Toni Storm, because Toni Storm is a great in-ring wrestler, as well as Willow Nightingale. I mean, the matches that Willow Nightingale has had in AEW have been great, but I think it's pretty obvious Toni Storm is going to be retaining the Women's Championship. Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, that being the Blackpool Combat Club, teaming up with Konosuke Takeshita and Shota Umino, will be taking on Hangman Page, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, or the Hung Bucks, you should say, teaming up with Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii. Very interesting matchup. Now, is this going to be the blow-off for this whole Elite versus Blackpool Combat Club feud? No, it's not. I think it's obvious that we're going to be leading towards blood and guts. This is not the blow-off. So either the heels get the win in some fucked up, fuckery, or the babyfaces get the win, or, Jon Moxley, or the babyfaces get the win and the heels proceed to attack the babyfaces, which leads to Kenny Omega coming out, or maybe not Kenny Omega coming out because he has a match with Ospreay, but a guy like Kota Ibushi coming in for the save. We have no idea. But due to the nature of the circumstances with, Double or Nothing and Anarchy in the Arena with the Blackpool Combat Club winning, it's fair for me to say that the babyfaces will get the win, but I have a small gut feeling that Jon Moxley, Claudio, Wheeler, Konosuke Takeshita, and Shota Umino will be getting the win. And then, of course, that will drag us into Blood and Guts in a couple of weeks. Now, Blood and Guts hasn't been officially announced, but it's pretty obvious that that is the next match in this whole blood feud between the Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club. So my pick to win this match, the Blackpool Combat Club. Sting, Darby Allin, and a mystery partner who will be revealed tomorrow night on AEW Collision takes on the Suzuki Gods, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki. Now, who is this mystery partner? We have no idea. My best bet, it's definitely somebody from New Japan. Some people were pointing out dudes with attitudes. Some people were pointing out, Tetsuya Naito. Now, I do not know what Tetsuya Naito's status is with AEW. I don't know if he's injured or not because I do not follow New Japan. But if it's Tetsuya Naito, it makes total sense considering the fact that Tetsuya Naito has some history with Chris Jericho. But again, who could the mystery partner be? I have no idea. But I will say Sting, Darby Allin, and the mystery partner will be getting the win over the Suzuki Gods. And then we will be leading to Chris Jericho turning on Sammy Guevara, in which we get Sammy Guevara basically, getting eliminated from the JAS, and then we have a one-on-one feud with Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Sonata versus Jack Perry for the IWGP World Heavyweight Title. Honestly, this is the most random match out of all the matches in Forbidden Door. Sonata basically stated on Dynamite that, he offers an open challenge. And when you think of open challenge, you think of a mystery opponent. But, of course, Jack Perry immediately accepted that challenge a couple segments later on that same show. It's Sonata's winning the IWGP World Title. Do I think Jack Perry's going to look great? Absolutely. But there's no way in hell Jack Perry is going to be winning the IWGP World Title. There's just no way. MJF versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the AEW World Championship. This is Hiroshi Tanahashi's second attempt at the AEW World Championship at Forbidden Door. Of course, last year, Hiroshi Tanahashi wrestled Jon Moxley for the AEW Interim World Title, and it was a great closing match for Forbidden Door, and of course that led to Moxley winning the match, and then leading to the Punk feud. But what are my thoughts on this match? It's going to be a great match regardless. I love MJF's character and just talking shit about New Japan, calling it a rinky-dink indie fed from Japan. The funniest shit ever, man. Everything that makes I talked about this constantly, but everything that makes MJF great is the reason because of the fact that, Jesus Christ, I don't even know how to speak. The reason why MJF is so good is because he embodies everything that the typical AEW fan despises. He's everything WWE. And that is basically the whole takeaway from this whole thing. MJF clearly does not like New Japan Pro Wrestling. And he's going to be wrestling Hiroshi Tanahashi. Look, man, I talked about this before and I'll say it again. MJF is going to make Hiroshi Tanahashi look like $1 million. And Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to make MJF look like $1 million. I shit you not. MJF, in my opinion, is a master seller in the ring. This man will sell his ass off against Tanahashi. And it's going to be great. But who is going to be retaining the title? MJF will retain the AEW World Title, and the reign of terror will continue. Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada. A dream match, everybody is saying. And rightfully so. This is a dream match everybody has wanted to see. We could be on the verge of having possibly the best match throughout this whole decade. And I mean that wholeheartedly. The crowd is going to be fully invested in this match. Okada is going to bring the best out of Bryan Danielson. And Bryan Danielson is going to bring the best out of Kazuchika Okada. Now, who's going to be winning this match? That's the question. I honestly do not know who's going to be winning this match, to be quite honest with you. It could really, if you think about it, go either way. Bryan Danielson could get the win, or Okada could get the win. I wouldn't have a problem with either man winning the match. It's not really a right or wrong scenario, in my opinion. This is a dream match that everybody wants to see, and whoever loses this match will look 10 times better because of it. That's how good this match is going to be. And honestly, if I were to choose somebody, I'd pick Bryan Danielson to beat Kazuchika Okada in this match at Forbidden Door this Sunday. After that, we got the main event, or supposedly the main event. Kenny Omega taking on Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Championship. Of course, it is their rematch from Wrestle Kingdom this past January, of course, in which we had Kenny Omega return to New Japan and win the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Now, we had Will Ospreay, or Don Callis, meeting up with Will Ospreay last week on Dynamite, or this past week on Dynamite, basically asking for, security, or, offering security to Will Ospreay, because the amount of heat that Will Ospreay is going to be getting in Canada is going to be astronomically insane. We know that for sure. So it's going to be very interesting to see what is going to be happening. But who do I see winning this amazing match? Because we know this match is going to be amazing. This is probably going to be the match of the year, in my opinion. Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay are going to fucking tear the house down in Toronto. They're going to steal the show. But there's only one logical person to win this match. And it's not Kenny Omega. It's Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay needs to get his win back, and he will be winning the IWGP U.S. title. And most likely, he will align himself with Don Callis. I may be wrong. But if Don Callis showed up with Will Ospreay, something fishy about that, so I assume that's going to happen. But overall, Forbidden Door is going to be a phenomenal show, probably the pay-per-view of the year, in my opinion, for AEW. And to be quite honest with you, man, the matches, holy shit, this card is fucking stacked. And I am 100% excited. And a lot of people that have been criticizing Forbidden Door are going to look real stupid when this pay-per-view is over.